Good morning, everyone. You know, I had this memory this morning. It's about 7 a.m. right now. And yeah, I look a mess. Please don't judge me. Listen, I remember a summer that I spent in Singapore. The cleanest, safest, most beautiful. I mean, it's like living in paradise when you are in Singapore. It's gorgeous. I remember waking up a morning and arguing in my head with my ex-mother-in-law. And I'd been divorced for over 10 years. And let me tell you why I'm telling you this. Detox takes a while. I remember thinking to myself, because I popped the observer out, the observer who was watching me be in a beautiful Airbnb in Singapore, doing what I'd always wanted to do, because that was a bucket list goal, to spend the summer in Singapore and work remotely and hop on to Bali and then go to Indonesia. Right, to Jakarta, doing all of it, walking the streets, riding my little bike. And there I was early in the morning, having an old argument, defending, explaining, convincing in my head. What am I saying? I'm saying that it takes a while to deconstruct the trauma patterns that we've built. That we have to not only have the observer, remember the observer is 50%, and I do this because it's like I pop myself out and I see what I'm doing. Okay, it takes a while because all of it has been memorized in your body. The trauma has been layered in like a lasagna since you were young. And so when we do this deconstruction of trauma, deconstruction of anxious, startled responses, deconstruction of, get this one, I was making the bed the other day and it came to me, especially for empaths, for highly sensitives, for codependents. I've been doing a lot of vlogs on this, what I call the over-responsibility trauma. And in my book, I talk about it. I talk about the fact that if you're a sensitive, empathic child in a family that has either a lot of conflict or a lot of silence, you're always reading the room. And just keep watching my vlogs and get my book for sure, The Empath Leader, Changing Humanity's Algorithm, because I talk about the fact that because we're such responsive beings, we become the first responders. And then that morphs into being over responsible. It's intense, and that all goes right together with being codependent, right? You jump in quickly, you take responsibility for the fight, you take responsibility for what you did wrong, you take responsibility for what's going on in the environment, you take responsibility because you are hardwired to harmonize the environment. It's part of who you are, is the peace creator. You want to bring light, and that becomes this, literally this chronic impulse and compulsion. You are over-responsibilized. You're constantly seeing things that you could fix, you could save, you could help. At least that's certainly my response. And what I want you to know is that takes a while to delayer, and part of it is to keep noticing. Have you ever gone on vacation and you just can't relax for the first 3 days? And then you finally, check this out, your body finally drops. Because see, we have memorized in the body. That's what I'm really trying to say. The body has body memory. And we have to slowly delayer, deconstruct, notice, and then listen. Then we add a new layer. So we take off that layer of the lasagna, of the trauma lasagna. We take it off, right? We're like, oh, that can go now. The ruminations, the defendings, the thinking that we have to be responsible. I know I'm speaking to a lot of you right now who wake up, who literally jump out of bed because they have so many responsibilities that day. Or you might be the person who doesn't want to get out of bed because you feel the horrible burden of the day that is to come, of that I am the responsible one. And you feel like there's so many worries on your mind. You might wake up with an achy neck or tight shoulders because you think, oh, this is so heavy, especially right now in 2026, where it feels really heavy out there. But let me jump back to what I was saying. If you can observe that, if you can say, I'm waking up with my remembered, nonverbal, over-responsibilized trauma again, waking up, right? What do? You observe it, number one. Number two, you come back into your new body, into the new body that you're creating. Then you notice the layer of trauma. What was I just thinking about? What was I just worried about? Was I worried about money? Maybe you were the only one. I know that's true for me. Is that, it's up to me. I've been a single mom, and the typical in relationships where I'm the one who has to carry a lot of the financial burden, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, I'm not even going to go there. But know that I connect, and that's part of what I've woken up with, is that heavy backpack of being the protector and provider. That's it, of being the protector and provider, okay? So I notice it. What's this worry? What's this maybe argument I'm having? What's this feeling in my body of alertness, of startle, of the day's gonna be hard? And then I notice, oh, that's a belief. That's the belief. All of those things, because you wake up with it, and that's the nonverbal piece. You might not think that that's what you're carrying around in your trauma lasagna. We're coining that today, okay? We're coining that today. That'll be a Claudism, the trauma lasagna. And then as you delayer that, you layer something new in. You breathe. I am here now. I'm not in my childhood. I'm in my new identity that I'm creating. Because some of you, we talked about it the other day, are hermiting. I've cut a bunch of cords. Maybe are not in even the life that you used to be in. Right? You're not even in that life anymore. But your whole body, your whole mind, your whole impulsiveness is still there. And that happens the moment you wake up. Notice it. That's why it's so important to have that quiet time in the morning, to notice it, to be with it, to do the process of, I'm noticing you. Just noticing it starts to delayer it. But what's really important, I'm so moved because you get to be kind to yourself, is to add the new layer. To add the new layer of, oh, I love my life. I love my body. You get to reparent that little voice inside. You get to notice that there's no conflict. There's no conflict anywhere. You get to notice that you don't have to defend your life, fight for it, convince for it, explain for it, be hyper vigilant of all the gaslighting in your own environment. So if you're hermiting, or if you're thinking of moving into your detox stage, your cord cutting stage, if you're healing from trauma, right? Just use these steps, but the first one is to notice it, and to notice how nonverbal it is. That's why it's so hard to catch it. One way, let me give you a hack right now. One way to easily catch it is if you're rushing. If you are jumping out of bed, if you are putting like everything together for the day. Rushing is a trauma response. It means I'm bad, I'm gonna be punished, I'm gonna be late, bad things are gonna happen. And that comes from childhood for sure. Okay, it comes from childhood for sure. It not only is a trauma response, but it will agitate a trauma response. You'll feel the tightness, you'll start to move, you'll start to feel danger, basically. That it doesn't feel like, you might not think, oh, I'm feeling like there's danger, but really when we rush, we feel like there's danger at the end of the road. Even if it's like, I'm gonna be late for the metro, that's gonna be dangerous because I'm gonna be late for work. All of that thinking feels dangerous. So that's a really easy hack. And so there's a really easy hack to stabilize it. And I always tell my group, chop wood, carry water. Start moving very slowly. It's all in the book. Put one foot in front of the other, right? In Spanish, we would say, vísteme despacio que estoy de apuro. Dress me slowly because I'm in a hurry. So you go, you brush your teeth slowly. You dress slowly. You drink your coffee slowly. These are all ways of delayering the trauma and of putting new layers back in. I'm going to show you where I am. It is literally like, I think now it should be like 7:15. Okay, let me show you. Can you see that? And why am I showing you that? Look at this, it's just beautiful. Why am I showing you that? Because I woke up with over responsibility trauma that I had to move through. Sorry, that was a phone call coming in. And I thought, I'm gonna jump on, even though I just woke up, even though I'm still in my, my mumu, about to get my coffee, because now I'm gonna chop wood and carry water. I'm gonna move really slowly. But I wanted to remember this because, remember, as a soul tribe, we're nuancing together all the pieces of what it means to move from being a trauma survivor into a trauma riser. We're gonna do this together, okay? So yeah, join me in my pajamas this morning. I'll see you in the next vlog.